What's poppin', y'all? What's poppin'? We back, man. I got my guy. I got my guy. Trying to put something together. Talk to the kids. I invited him over to come help me out. We've both been trying to put this little journey together, and there's somebody that's been rocking with me and not afraid to open up about it. You know what I mean? Because we're proud of where we're going and where we at.
And where we come from.
Exactly. So, we're pushing. Go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
My first name is Jordan, right? But now, Instagram and the streets would call me J2O the Don. So, with that being said, what's up, everybody? It's J2O the Don in the building.
Yes, sir. And we have our other co-host, Mr. Jameer, helping us out. He's going to give us a couple questions, and yeah, we're going to go from here. Go ahead, start us off, bro.
The opening question is, can you take us back to the moment where you realized things had to change?
Ooh, I definitely got to go first because this is something I was just talking about.
Keep it so.
Man, that's wild because I literally was in prison, and that was like the start. That was like, and it wasn't no super boom. It just started out as somebody gave me a book. And then that book made me realize that I wasn't too thrilled with my current circumstances. Even though we had Xboxes, all the food we can eat and all that, but that's what it was for, to make us forget that we was where we was at. But it was in that moment where I started realizing that I'm losing more than time. I'm losing people. I'm losing time. I'm losing moments. And it was like, what I've been doing is just not working. And I've been doing it without faith. I've been doing it, thinking I can do it my way. But it was just definitely one of those moments where I was sitting in prison. I'm like, man, all these, getting pictures and everybody living their life, yours just sitting right there. Yeah, that was, for me, that take the cake. That's it. Sitting in prison.
Man, that was definitely the location. I can't really say it was like a certain event that happened that made me feel like that, because I was already a certain amount of years into my sentence. But I too had a similar awakening where I was like, hey man, it's been 2-3 years and I ain't been doing nothing. I ain't in no vocation class. Since I already got the diploma, they don't really care about you doing nothing else. I don't got a job. I'm not earning any time off. I'm just sitting here you know what I mean? And the time is doing me. And instantly, as I said that out loud or to myself, I instantly got scared. And what I was scared of was just man, if they let me out right now, I ain't do nothing different. I ain't changed. That realization had me oh, because that's when the gun enhancements was changing. There was a whole bunch of laws going on.
2013. 2012, 2013.
It was a whole lot of stuff cracking. So I'm ooh, this may be my time. And I just had one of them things where I'm man, I've been just acting I'm gonna be able to flip a switch and get introduced to all these different things and a whole different mentality. And like I said, that scared me. That had me man, hold on, I gotta do something right now before what now comes. And I've talked to you about this before, but what now is you get to the point where it's oh, I can't wait to get out of jail. And then you get out of jail and it's what now? Because you ain't never planned, you ain't never prepped, you wasn't trying to get ready to be home. You just said you wanted to be there. You know what I mean? It's and I talked to the boys about that with sports. Man, y'all work out at practice? That's what's up. I know a guy that work out before practice, go to practice, and then work out after his practice. You know what I mean? And then he do film study. So it's yeah, that's why y'all on different levels. You know what I mean? So, yeah, and I feel like that's where all that came from. For me, is realizing we saying one thing when we in there, I miss my family, I want to be a good dad, I'm woo, but it's you got to start practicing those things while you down. And there's a way for you to do it, for me. Yeah.
I got just a little second question to that, because you said, correct me if I'm wrong, that you wanted to go home, but you didn't do nothing. You felt like you felt like you didn't change, right?
Yeah.
All right. Now, this is just a which one would you rather have? Would you have? I know I didn't change, and that what now? Or in your mind you think you changed, and then the what now? Which one is worse?
The thinking you change.
Okay,
Yes.
that was it for me. I just wanted to know, because in my mind I was like, damn. I was like, oh, he said he didn't change, and I was under my own guise of saying that I changed.
I gotta put some context into that. What I was saying, the question was, like, at what moment did you figure out that you needed to change? And at that point, I had been 6-7 years into my sentence. And I was kind of like, damn, like, bro, like, you ain't doing nothing to be different when you get out. And you already a few years in. That was the thing that had me like, okay, you think you just finna go turn a switch. That's what I meant. And that was the moment when I was like, okay, it's time to do different and change. You know what I mean? And that's when I started, getting into books. And it was funny, like, I tell the story a lot. I started getting tattoos. I started getting books from dudes with tattoos on their face. You know what I mean? Where they be looking all manly, you'd be like, bro, like, you would never even think this dude was educated. Or, you know what I mean? Like, we get to judging people. You know what I mean? And be like, it started being crazy. Like, them started being the dudes I had the most deepest conversations with. You know what I mean? Dudes that I kind of would look at on the surface that think wouldn't have no type of information or no game for me.
Just for the camera, I used to go steal all his books. just so we clear, that's the only time that I was stealing. I would go steal his books.
No, we had some good conversations off the books for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Our second question is, what role did your upbringing and the crowd that you had around you play in the choices that you made to put you in that position, whether that be good or bad?
See.
Oh, wait, run that one more time and slow it down.
Oh, I got it.
But I just want to process this like 3 parts to that.
Okay.
What role did your upbringing and the people that you hung around play in the choices that you made that put you in the situation that you were in, good or bad?
I feel like there's 2 sides to hit on that.
I feel like it's all, it links
because
together.
You're always growing. I'm 35. I'm still growing.
Right, but the base is what part did that play? The people,
for sure.
Like, and I can answer that smoothly. The reason why I can answer that so smoothly is because I think about this all the time, and it was like, specifically to this point, I didn't come into this world with no enemies. The only enemy that I had was time, right? And so when we grow up, we're in a neighborhood, which we didn't choose. Most times we didn't choose. As a kid, we didn't choose. And so now we're building lifelong relationships and rapports with the other kids in our neighborhood. And we grow up together. But along with that, it comes a time where we're being introduced to the streets and the ideas of being in them. And so what comes with that? The negativity. But in that time frame, we looking at it as it's positive because we together, we doing everything together, whether it's negative or positive. But in the end, we know it's positive negative because we can go to jail for a very, very long time. And so it's like that influence alone at that time, we didn't think nothing was wrong with it. But once you know better, you got to do better. And knowing that where I was from, just that alone, whether I did anything, participated or not, it has a negative connotation to it. And that alone already excludes me from going places, doing things, and being seen to a certain extent. So it's like that it influenced me to be all the way negative, devoid of feelings. I didn't even want to learn because I wanted to be so gangster. And so to fast forward to what situations that put me in, man, 17 plus years in juvenile hall, county jail, prisons. That's 17 plus years because of my upbringing, where I was from, and the things of that nature. And even today, same thing.
That all contributed to it, but it was not the totality of why, because we had to make choices along that way. You know what I mean? So that I will agree to disagree on. I do feel like all of it was a contribution, but not in totality of why we did what we did. I'm going to choose to answer the question differently and go more in a current space, because right now I feel like I'm doing hella good. And I almost want to credit that wholeheartedly to Eugene Jackson, my mentor. And at least for this specific part, this is one dude that I watch work from morning to night. And he don't say nothing about nothing. You know what I mean? He never complained. He's always available. The first time I met him, this is like one of my favorite memories of him. We were having a conversation, and then like a young girl walked up to him, and then an older adult man came up to him, and then another dude came to him, and it was like 5 different people that came to him, all needing different things. And he was able to put on all those hats within like 2 minutes and then still get back to me in our conversation. You know what I mean? And after so much time, I've been able to see how much he means to so many people, right? And I'm saying all that to say, I watched that man, and his dinner making me emotional, because I look at him and I be like, man, I can't be tired. You know what I mean? This dude really go hard, and I feel like this dude put me in a position to be half of what he's doing and still make an impact for me. And I really love him for that, and want to send some love for that, because I feel like having the type of surroundings, whether it be negative or positive, will have an impact on us. So I am beyond intentional about being around people that I know are going to pick me up. I'm very serious about talking to you and having that real conversation and expecting that real conversation back, because I know that's what's going to get me to the next spot, not the enabling. And when we were being tested in class and deciding to go run the streets with our friends, and they was like, yeah, man, that test was stupid and you could do something else, they were enabling us not trying. You know what I mean? So when I'm looking at this dude and the other dudes I've been around, for me, it's like they don't enable me not to try. For me, and that's what that environment has done for me today. And I'm super grateful for it.
My quick retort would be, that's definitely needed. Both sides of the conversation, definitely. But my only thing would be, in that time frame, let's just say when I was 13, for instance, I was in the 8th grade. But even before that, let's just say the 6th grade, I was 11. I was already jumping in it. It's the blind leading the blind. Because it wasn't like I was, when I go to school, I'm with 17-year-olds and 21-year-olds. So it was like, we right here, we're seeing something and we want to emulate it. And that emulation turns into simulation. And so it's like, but at the end of the day, who we jumping out there with, what knowledge do they have? We all ignorant. We're seeing something and trying to go do it. We have no experience. So it's like we're all being ignorant in that moment. And even our quote unquote big homies is ignorant because of what they was taught. Like they was taught the street commandments. That's ignorance. That's ignorance on every level. But I say that to say, it's like, how has it positively or negatively influenced us? That ignorance at such a young age caused us to lose significant years in our life.
For sure.
That ignorance, it wasn't like we was stupid. We knew and still chose to do those things. I mean, don't get me wrong. We know right and wrong. I'm not saying that. But the influence on where we were from, that says, to me, that says everything. Like that was like the ignorance of us but we walking around like we know.